As empaths, we all so deeply desire friendships. Unfortunately, it is probably the hardest journey for us to go through when we want to feel so connected to people that we think are on our same wavelength, and yet we hit these moments of dis-ease or disconnection, and we wonder, are we going to be alone forever, or are we ever going to be able to feel that strong sense of belonging that we so deeply desire? If we haven't met before, I'm Sana. I am an embodiment mentor. I help awakened souls come into their body and feel everything deeply so they can alchemize all of their past wounds and conditioning and limitations into the fullness of their power and come fully alive so they can build their empires and create the impact that they came here to create. I am also the co-founder of Growth Club, which is an incredible membership community. If you are in LA, we have an in-person membership. We also have a global membership for those that can't gather in person in Los Angeles. And it's a space for conscious leaders to really come together, share challenges and obstacles, but also just celebrate their growth and embody their most authentic self without needing to prove anything to anybody, and to just simply let down the masks, gather over delicious meals and inspiring and captivating conversations. So if you're craving soul connections and if you're craving to feel deeply seen, I hope you'll join us. All of the links are below. But today, what I really want to talk about is something that I've noticed I've been really navigating this year in 2025, and it's the sister wound. I have a sister, and we are not in each other's lives right now. But what I've also noticed is I'm doing a lot of the sister wound work through other dynamics, through my friendships with my soul sisters, through my partnership with my co-founder Carly, with my soul clients that are coming to me for my wisdom, and I need to balance this spiritual ego and really try to meet them where they're at and love them fully and completely. And I'm also working on it with so many beautiful women that are coming into my life. And it feels like we're so connected and we're going to really dive in deep and become soul sisters. And then somewhere along the way, there's this disconnection, this moment of not aligning perfectly. And of course, as somebody who's really devoted to this conscious journey, there's so much noise out there that tells us if it's not aligned, it's got to go. I'm pretty sure I even have a podcast episode titled that with Casey Stevens, I think, if you want to check it out and see how far I've come since those days. And what I'm really noticing is this lack of nuance and discernment and curiosity in the space. It feels really judgy, right? It's like, oh my gosh, we're not in alignment, peace out. And to me, what that looks like and feels like is avoidance. It's neglecting and abandoning an opportunity for growth. And as somebody who has started a whole company called Growth Club for the sake of personal growth and development and spiritual maturity, I am really having to walk the walk as I am learning how to talk the talk. So this year started off with an incredible opportunity to go to Joshua Tree for free because one of these women that were going got the opportunity to film and record content for this gorgeous property, and we all just got to go for free because I knew this woman who I have had the sister wound come up before. And as soon as I got there, I had all of this stuff come up that I'm not as skinny as them, I'm not as pretty as them, I am not as cool as them, I'm not as successful as them. That trip taught me what it means to be authentic by being vulnerable and being so deeply seen and being so beautifully held. And I really, for the first time in my life, felt like I was receiving as much as I was pouring. To me, that is what it means to be a sister, is somebody who doesn't drain your energy and somebody who can pour into you as much as you pour into them. And for a long time, I thought that I had too high standards for my friendships and that I needed to have less standards. But if there's anything that I've learned with my journey with my husband, is that I must have the confidence to raise the standard and trust that other people will meet me there. And he has so many times. So I've gotten to build this trust muscle within me. I'm allowed to have standards and I'm allowed to let people meet me there. So I had another incident with a friend recently, and we went to dinner and we had so much disconnection. I was so excited to see this woman. She is somebody who is still very much in the energy of stepping into her power, and I can see her in her power so beautifully, and I just want her to be in her power. I know she's ready for it. And as a projector in human design, I project. I see people's potentials and I tell them their potentials and they hate it. It's a blessing and a curse. A blessing because I do have beautiful soul clients who pay me for this wisdom, for this gift, for this ability to see their whole potential and invite them to rise into it with practices and tools and embodiment work, personalized meditations, and literal constant tech support. And then I also have this line in my human design where I have to wait for the invitation. Waiting for the invitation is the hardest thing, because that means that people must see your gifts and your light and then ask you for it, right? So if you're somebody with self-worth or self-trust issues and you don't see your own light to the fullest, you're going to try to prove it or try to receive it. And that word try is what stops you from actually being able to receive it. And the more we try to get people to see us or like us or accept us, the further and further it gets from coming into our life. Why? The universe doesn't give you what you want, it gives you who you are. So if you're somebody that feels like you have to prove who you are in order to receive something, that's the reality you're going to call into your life. So for me, my whole holier than thou energy with my projector energy, and I see your potential and I want you to step into your potential, I realized was causing a lot of disconnections in my friendship dynamics. So at this dinner, I'm holding her to her highest potential, and I'm noticing that it's too much for her and she's not ready for it. And I fucked up her nervous system at that dinner. And that's so wrong of me to do that. If she's listening, I hope she knows that I didn't mean to do that. I just get really passionate about seeing people's potential and sharing it with them. So back to the thing that I was saying about wanting to have an equal energy exchange between friendships. That's how much I pour into my friendships. So I need to have a standard that protects me and my authentic self. My authentic self wants to pour so much into others and wants others to pour into me equally. And I don't think that's a crime. And if it is a crime, I'll do another podcast episode in a year and I'll fill you guys in. But that's just where I'm at today. I'm no longer at a place where I have to apologize for my authentic self and to be punished for it because I lower my standards. My standards for friendships are pretty high because I'm a great fucking friend. I give my all to people. And in my own personal relationships, I want that to be poured back into me. That doesn't mean that in the slightest moment where I don't feel heard, seen, or valued, I leave. No, that's the difference between emotional immaturity and emotional maturity. Emotional immaturity says this isn't in alignment and I'm going to let it go, even if you tell yourself it's with love and grace. Emotional maturity is, okay, this disconnection is coming up. Why? Okay, this relationship dynamic isn't clicking. Why? Why do I feel this division? And if we really want to walk ourselves into unity consciousness, we must ask ourselves all of these questions, even if they are uncomfortable and difficult, and if you feel blocked and you can't access it, there are ways. There are always ways to access your subconscious. The reason I also want to talk about it is because it is so ancestral. It's not something that is just happening with me and my sisters. It is something that happened with my mom and her sisters, and something that happened with my grandma and her sisters. It's so different than the mother wound and the father wound, because the mother wound and the father wound are about healing your inner child and reclaiming your sense of self and becoming the authority figure of your life, becoming a self-led human. But the sister wound and the brother wound are two very different things, because it's more about how do we connect with our peers and how do we belong on this planet with reverence to each other's paths and each other's journeys and each other's wisdom and each other's gifts. The mother wound and the father wound is more so about the self, and the sister wound and the brother wound is more about connecting with others. So when we talk about this sister wound, I want you to pull yourself higher than just what's happening in your one-on-one dynamics, and take your lens one level higher to look at how the sister wound plays out in our society. So many women are in competition with each other. They gossip about each other. This is cultural. This is societal. This is patriarchal. And we, as these beautiful new earth goddess leaders, are literally here to feel into all the ways that we have been conditioned and programmed, so that we can break that pattern, we can rewrite the story, and we can be in connection with each other in a different way. We are healing childhood dynamics, family dynamics, dysfunctional family dynamics, and we are breaking generational patterns and conditioning that has been embedded into our DNA through our ancestors' lived stories and experiences. So many of us are taught to be the caretaker, the peacekeeper, the scapegoat, or simply the invisible one. And then these patterns play out in your relationship dynamics, because that's just the nature of this journey. You can do all the self-healing you want with your inner child and heal your mother wound and father wound and be good in life. You can have love, you can have success, but you can't have true connection and true sense of belonging until we really look at this sister wound and brother wound. And the only way to really look at all of this and come through the other side of it is to be willing to sit with the discomfort, feel it, transmute it, alchemize it, and rewrite that story. And how do we do that? By no longer feeling the need to wear a mask in order to feel that sense of belonging. You get to decide or become aware of what that mask is for you. So when I was in Joshua Tree with these gorgeous women, the mask I wore was, oh, let me make sure I put on makeup. Oh, I wish I had better clothes. Oh, I didn't pack properly. And the minute we dove into plant medicine and the minute we sat in ceremony together, all of those masks dissolved. And that's when I knew that this work is ancestral. It's not just about me not feeling good enough. It's not just about me not feeling worthy or ugly or whatever. These are stories that are encoded inside of my DNA that are being asked to look at so that we can rewire them. And for the past 6 months, I have shifted and grown and healed so many patterns. And I'm still not perfect. Nobody is. That's the point. The path is all about becoming authentic and allowing our sisters to see us unmasked in our truths, in our vulnerabilities, and not feeling guilty for asking for that space, not feeling like I'm not worthy of being poured into as much as I pour into others. That's what standards do. They remind you when you lose that connection to your own divinity. They're anchor points to allow you to stay rooted and grounded in a new frequency, where you no longer accept breadcrumbs, where you no longer beg and plead for fleeting connections, where you say no to mediocre friendships and sit in the solitude until your soul family arrives. That is the journey of really leaving behind one world and fully embodying another. If a dynamic is draining, I hope instead of running and hiding, you take that emotion and you get curious instead. I hope you begin to ask yourself some deeper questions. And if you need help and guidance, just come schedule a call with me. I will see your blind spots. I will hold the mirror. I will invite you into your wholeness. We all need help and guidance. And the minute you're willing to admit that you can't do it all alone, we didn't come here to do it all alone. We have sisters, we have brothers that are willing to pour into us as much as we're willing to pour into them, and willing to rise together and willing to build together, then the whole journey becomes so much more fun, so much more playful, so much more easeful. So I hope that these stories and this transmission allows you to hold space without overgiving, that allows you to ask for what you need and not shrink and hide, to honor your magic without apology, and to know that you have a magical gift. You have this unique medicine that you're here to give to the world, and you're allowed to charge for it with soul clients that feel like sacred sisters. And you're allowed to not give it when someone doesn't honor it and cherish it. We're in a season where women are really needing to get tight on these boundaries and to really know who is for you and who's not for you. And to sit in the nuance of what's for me and what's not for me, what's in alignment and what's not in alignment, what's ready to be let go of and what is ready to be held onto tighter. Not from a place of fear, but from a place of devoted love. And to any of my sisters that are listening and tuning into this episode because the Sister Wound title has sparked some curiosity, I hope you know how much I love you, how much I honor you and cherish you, and how grateful I am to have so many incredible women in my life. I may not have a relationship with my real sister, but I have so many sisters in my life that hold a mirror when I am a little too much in my ego, that aren't scared to tell me when my head is a little too high in the clouds, and who accept me fully and receive me in my wholeness. For so long, I wanted to feel like I belong, and I realized that if I don't feel like I belong, I'm never going to belong. If I don't believe that I belong, I'm not going to belong. If I don't choose to belong, I'm not going to belong. If I have a core belief that I'm so healed, I'm so enlightened, I'm so evolved, and everybody else isn't, that is what I'm going to create in my external reality. If I believe that nobody wants to be friends in this day and age, everybody just wants to sell something to you and nobody knows authentic relating anymore, then that is what I'm going to attract in my reality. If I believe that women are evil and all they do is gossip and talk shit and spread rumors, because that's what my mom and my sister did to me, then that's the reality I'm going to create. I'm done. I am done creating a life where love is not at the foundation of every single connection. Why is there so much division and hate and all this chaos? Because we're projecting it from not healing all of the ways we have division in our own self. All these fragmented parts of our souls are out there, and the medicine is in these relationships and connections out in the world. It's not in a book, it's not in a podcast, it's not in a course, it's not in anywhere else, but in the reflection of these relationships, all of them, not just romantic, not just platonic, but everyone and everything and everywhere are fractals of God energy. And that's simply reflecting all of your inner parts. So if you're somebody that's outgrowing friendships and connections, just know that the isolation is part of the journey, and I swear you're going to start attracting people on your frequency and your wavelength, and it's not going to just be a walk in the park and playgrounds and play dates and all the laughter and joy, because true love also means sitting in the fire when shit hits the fan, because it will, because we're human. Breakups happen, divorces happen, kids drive you crazy, parents die. And if you don't have the capacity to help somebody and hold space for them in their messy seasons, then you're not ready for true, authentic connections. I have created so much space in my life that I have space now for authentic connections. I'm not drowning myself in my work. I'm not over-consumed in my relationship. I'm not self-obsessed. I have learned how to see myself and learn about myself and create space for others to be with me too. And that's why I've been able to cultivate all of these juicy, deep, soulful relationships in my life. When you stop looking at people as a project and start seeing them as reflections, you could really learn a lot about yourself. And learning more about ourselves is how we break free and choose a different story, where our past no longer holds us as prisoners and we're allowed to let it go and change and grow and evolve and transform. So if you're ready to deeply and truly learn discernment and transmute all of these gnarly little relationship dynamics into deep, soulful connections, join Growth Club or come work with me for a highly personalized one-on-one experience. And let's get you thriving in soulful relationships. I sincerely am so grateful you're here. Please hit subscribe and like and leave a comment and let me know who in your life is activating you the most. Where is that medicine that you can find in that dynamic? I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for tuning in.